welcome back to week 2 of Double Delicious. I'm Chef Heft, and this week I'm going to be making quinoa and black bean salad. It's a staple in our household. We've made it a lot. It's really delicious. That'll be for lunch. And for dinner, we're going to have an Indian lentil dal stew. It's really delicious. I'll make that and usually put it over some brown rice with seasoning, and it's really delicious. That's another staple. It's a little bit cooler outside, so I've been opting for more soup type, like hot foods for dinners, comfort foods, and it's a really good one for that. So I'll be making that as well. I'm about to head to the store, but before that, I wanted to show you something real quick. All right, if you remember from last week, I was talking about how sometimes you'll have half the ingredients in your house already whenever you stock up on the kitchen essentials. So this is where I keep that stuff, or some of it anyway. So I've got lentils already. I've got plenty of quinoa. And I've got dried black beans, so I'll just soak those. And then let's just mosey over into the kitchen. And back there, I've got brown rice. So that's already a pretty good amount of the ingredients, and then plus the seasonings. I have all of the seasonings here too. So yeah, not that much left to buy. I'm just gonna head to the store now and pick it up. Alright, I'm home, and you remember I showed you the ingredients that I already had here at the house, and how I was talking about how whenever you're stocked up, the grocery trips can be really inexpensive. Well, this week was a really great example of that. For lunches and dinners all week, my grocery trip was $12.65 this week. So yeah, that's pretty rewarding to be able to make it out of the store with such a low bill at the end, so it's pretty great. It's the night before cooking time, so I'm going to do an overnight soak of these beans. Well, there it is. I will open this up tomorrow, cook the beans, and go ahead and use them for the recipe. Alright, it's a new day, sun is out, and I'm ready to do some cooking. Before I get started with the quinoa dish though, I'm going to cut a pineapple for my wife. Actually, a little bit of background. So the place that I work, they have like fruit and nuts and little snacks and stuff in the refrigerator for people to grab. And so I'll use that to supplement, you know, the food that I have there with me. But my wife doesn't have anything like that, so I'll always buy some fruit for her to take with her in her lunch. And so I have this pineapple. And so here, I'll demonstrate real quick. Here's my pineapple. You'll notice it doesn't have a top. I didn't buy it like this. I got to the checkout and the guy ringing me up asked me if I wanted him to take it off. I was like, sure, I guess. And he just grabbed it and like twisted it off like a barbarian and put it in my bag. I was really surprised by it. But yeah, it was nice of him to do. Anyway, so I'm gonna go ahead and slice this up for Ayana. And this is actually my first time cutting a pineapple, so I had to watch a tutorial video and we'll see how it goes. Alright, pineapples are chopped up and ready to be put in the fridge. Alright, so black beans have been soaking overnight, and now I'm going to rinse them off and then put them in a pot with some water and put them on a boil. And from there, I'll just give them a little bit of time to cook, and then they'll be ready to go. Once that's boiling, I'll drop it to a simmer and just let them go for a while. Eventually they'll be soft and ready to eat. Alright, now the fun part. I'm going to do all of my chopping of all the veggies for the quinoa dish. So we will go ahead and get started with some bell peppers. Bell peppers are done. Time to chop up the cilantro. Alright, cilantro is in the bowl, and it is time for jalapenos, pickled jalapenos. There it is. Okay. Now I'm just going to pour some corn in here, and the vegetables will be ready, and I'll cook the quinoa and make the dressing. Maybe just a little bit more. That's probably good right there. Alright. I'm just going to give it a little bit of a stir. So these will be mixed up. And actually, what I haven't discussed yet is the black beans. This recipe has you season the black beans separately before you kind of mix it all together. So I'm going to have these set to the side, and I'll have another bowl that I'll put the black beans in, and I'll put the seasonings, which include red wine vinegar, salt, and pepper for the black beans, and mix that together before I put them all in the same bowl together. So that will be next. Alright, I just tasted a black bean and they're not ready yet. They're going to need a little bit more time. So actually I'm just going to move on to the quinoa, start cooking that, and then maybe make the dressing. And hopefully by that point the black beans will be done and I can go ahead and do that step. So let's get going with the quinoa. Alright, so I want 3 cups of quinoa. So I'll go ahead and measure that out. Put it in my little strainer mesh strainer, and then get the 3rd cup measured out. Okay, now I'll rinse it. Alright, so for the dressing, I need to squeeze a couple limes to get started, and then I'll mix in the other ingredients such as the oil and vinegar and other seasonings, so I'll get to that. But first I'm going to squeeze some limes. It's not quite boiling. I am hearing the black beans boil because I turned the heat up a little bit because they weren't simmering. Now they are. So I just turn this down to a simmer, and I'm gonna put a little bit of miso paste in there, just to give it a little bit extra savoriness. This is leftover from a ramen recipe I did a couple weeks ago, so I'm trying to find some different ways to use it. Alright, I'm gonna get going on this dressing here. So I squeeze that lime juice, just pour that in here. 2 teaspoons of salt. Yeah. Getting low on this thing. It's 2.5 teaspoons cumin. Yes, it fits in there. 1, 2, and I'll call that a half. 2/3 cups of olive oil. Just like on the last recipe, I'm doing grapeseed oil instead. It's 1/3. Go a little bit light on the second third, so it's not quite as much oil as it asks for. Okay, I mix that up, and that will be the dressing. So the quinoa just finished cooking. I'm gonna go ahead and take it out of the pot and pour it into that large bowl over there with the knife sticking out of it. I will remove the knife first. But basically, the idea is I'm gonna get the quinoa into that big bowl, I'm gonna put the dressing in, mix that together, and then I'll take these veggies, I'll put those in there with it, mix that in, and then I'll prepare the beans where, like I said before, I need to mix them up with some seasonings first, and then I'll mix those into the big bowl, and everything will be mixed together. And then that's it. So, here we go. Okay, the beans are nice and soft and ready to eat. And I'm just gonna give them a quick rinse. Alright, time to season these babies. Alright, so the seasoning for the black beans are incredibly simple. It's just 3 tablespoons of red wine vinegar. I forgot, let's give it a little stir. There we go. And then just salt and pepper to taste. That's probably good on the pepper. Stir that up. Try a little taste. Good. Alright, so here's the last step. I'm just gonna mix it all together and then it'll be ready to try. So let's do this. And there it is, the final product. Quinoa and black bean salad. Hope you try it, hope you enjoy. We are going to try a bite here in just a second. Okay, so before I package this up into all our to-go containers for our lunches throughout the week, I'm going to try a little bite, see how it turned out. Delicious, so good. I love this recipe. It's one of the first ones we discovered when we decided to eat a plant-based diet, and there's a reason why it's stuck around. Always a good go-to, great lunch, very filling, nice little break from the day in the middle of the day at work. So love this recipe, definitely try it.